What's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 9th. It's August. It's 2025. It is 10 minutes of 7 Pacific time. So I'm as far west as you can go. So my computer apparently doesn't have the bandwidth or the brain waves or whatever to figure out what time zone I'm in. So my videos are either start late, they start early, or whatever. I don't even know. I really don't feel like doing this right now, but I'm going to do it because I said I would. So there, as they say, we go. What is up, Captain Kurt? What is up, Clayton Vicarious? What is up, Dreams in Digital? Jaden Booz, Lynn Bohm, Elizabeth Borenson, what's up? Abraham from Tennessee, what's up, brother? Indeed it is. Kimberly Wilson actually got notified. That's fantastic. Laura K, what's up? That guy, Matt, what is up, man? Geneva, Cordoba. I feel bad when I stop doing this, but then the comments are always like, I can't believe you shout people's names out. I can't believe people even comment. You know what I mean? But whatever. Geneva, I already said what's up to you. D-Lo, Northern Cali. I'm all right. It's hot out here, man. Dang. Hot, hot, hot. I've been Pacific Northwest for the last 2 weeks, so the weather was pretty legit. But down here, it is hot. But I'm only down here for a minute. Creek don't rise, good Lord's willing, etc. At any rate, let's get right into this. Let me before we get into the speeding up of time, let me show you what everybody's talking about at all times, constantly, 24/7, because it makes a big difference somehow. But I don't see it that way. So let's see what we got here. Listen to this real quick. I don't know who this dude is, but he's pretty smart.
So
how is President Trump connected to electric car makers Tesla and Nikola?
Warp 2.
Connect the dots for our audience. What do all three have in common?
Well, first of all, let's start off, Alexis, specifically with Tesla and Donald Trump. Go back to the 1940s. The inventor Nikola Tesla died in 1943. The FBI was called in to vet his inventions to make sure there was nothing dangerous there that could fall into enemy hands. And they called an MIT electrical engineering professor, a very esteemed one named John Trump. Now, it turns out that John Trump is, in fact, the uncle of the President of the United States.
How crazy is it that you are working with Elon Musk, today's Tesla?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when Tesla died, it was your genius uncle that was sent to try to figure out what papers should be kept.
Isn't it great?
How crazy is that?
Actually, so my uncle was a great, brilliant man, my father's brother. But as he went through life, he was very successful as a professor at MIT, but he was also very successful at other things like discovering genius things. And the United States government gave him an assignment of finding out whether or not Mr. Tesla was the real deal or was he not the real deal? In other words, was he really great or was he just an average guy? And my uncle did a report on it. And you know what was nice? He said he was really great.
88. When Nikola Tesla was in his late 80s, very old, and he was given a big awards dinner in New York where the world was thanking him for all the incredible things that he had given to the world. And he said, Nikola Tesla spoke to the audience, and he said, I have to tell you how I got ideas to do what I've done. He said, every evening before.
Now this right here is exactly why I want you to listen to this, because this makes complete and perfect sense. And I've never heard this before. I've covered all of this. Tesla, Trump's uncle, Tesla's paperwork disappearing, the book written about Tesla going to Mars and Trump and all this stuff. I've gone over this ad nauseum, but this right here, to me, was new. So it's new to you, or it ain't. One of the two. I don't know.
Or bed, I will put a notepad on the done. He said, every evening before bed, I will put a notepad on the little table next to my bed with a pen or a pencil. And he said that every morning when I wake up, there's a written invention on the pad. Somebody comes into my room at night and writes down an invention. And the next morning I get up and it's all written out for me. And so I just go to my laboratory and follow the instructions, and I invented radio.
So do you see what he just said there? According to that, what we just heard, Tesla said that before he went to bed every night, he'd leave a blank notepad next to his bed, and then somebody would come in the room, write it all down. He wouldn't question who that somebody was, but he would simply take the blueprint that someone left him, an unseen entity, and he would develop it. And Tesla has developed some of the most HARP, the machine that can literally create earthquakes by bouncing monstrous radio waves off of the firmament, sending them back down to the ground and shaking things up. You know what I mean? The Tesla death ray, wireless technology, pretty much everything we're using right now. I'd wager a bet that Tesla invented it one way or the other. And you heard what his source was, where these ideas came from. Oh, I just left a notepad out. Somebody came in my room while I was sleeping, wrote it all down, didn't wake me up or anything like that. And I would wake up and simply follow the step-by-step recipe and make incredible weapons of mass destruction that were suddenly taken from me by the FBI, ended up in the hands of Donald Trump's uncle at MIT. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump is back again and again. And it's insane to me. It's utterly insane. But on that, I will digress.
Or I invented alternating current, or I made this invention or that invention. And today, Nikola Tesla has lit the world and given us radio. But he said he was inspired by someone writing it down when he was sleeping.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure he can control the demon?
All right, sorry, I was just having a little technical difficulties there. There's a lot of buttons I got to press, and I got a lot of windows open. So somebody just said, I just saw it. Yes, he does love demons. My laptop's freaking out. That's really bumming me out here. Somebody just said Tesla stole all the technology. Well, you have to be. Are you talking about Tesla or Elon Musk car manufacturing brand? You see what I mean? You gotta be pretty straightforward, or not. I don't know. All right, so that's crazy. That's crazy. And here's something else I want to get out there, because I thought everybody knew this. I thought this was old information, because constantly and every single day, all you hear about is Epstein, Trump, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. And then suddenly and recently, maybe you didn't get the memo, or maybe you did. I don't know. Ghislaine Maxwell was just moved to the best federal correctional center in America. It's an incredibly, if you got to go to jail, this is where you want to go. You can play tennis. You can visit with your family 8 hours a day. I think you can even leave. But the problem is she was completely and utterly convicted of sex crimes, making her a sex offender. Notice how I don't censor that word? I can't stand that people, they're so worried about monetization, they can't say words, but they're truth speakers. That pisses me off, but whatever. Ghislaine Maxwell was just transferred, and Trump said, that's pretty common. It's not common. But sex offenders cannot go to these places. So she's coming around lying now, and she's been convicted of perjury in court. She went to jail for it. Perjury, meaning, do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Lied. Perjury, which gives you jail time. This woman is a convicted liar, and now she's saying that Trump had nothing to do with anything. And the Epstein list doesn't even exist. Do you guys remember, was 12 years ago when I showed you the video, before this was a huge thing? We all knew what Epstein was, what he was doing, and nobody listened to us because it was a conspiracy theory. Do you guys remember when the list was out on Gawker? The entire Epstein list they keep talking about like it's some magical thing that doesn't exist, or they gave a bunch of binders with all the names on it to right-wing influence meat puppets. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, that list, that doesn't even exist. It's not real. Or the Democrats did it, or blah, blah, blah. It's right here. It always has been. So let me try to share that without, here we go. Without killing the live stream.
The Little Black Book, of which there's only one, by the way, not multiple, is a smoking gun. This is where it gets interesting. It turns out that despite being suppressed by the court, the Little Black Book, at least a heavily redacted version of it, was actually released by...
Here's the Epstein list. You're looking at it. FYI.
Website, now defunct, called Gawker in 2015. Rather than some sort of client rundown, it was more like a contact list. But soon afterward, in certain dark corners of the online world, the unredacted version was also made public. Obviously, the footage is blurred for the video in the background because it contains the accurate residence phone number and email addresses for a bunch of the most powerful elite people in the world. And I'm pretty sure the video would get instantly nuked if I ever showed any of it. But the truth here is that this material has been accessible for almost a decade, if you know where to look. Even still, the fact that the thing most widely regarded as a smoking gun isn't even really a smoking gun and has been public for almost a decade didn't stop the rumor mills and the conspiracy theories from turning. This is where I have to use a few examples. Long before the July of 2025 Epstein disaster, which is currently unfolding, numerous government officials, subsequent, former, and current, made decisive statements about files, names, releasing information, and overall transparency. These are by no means the only statements that were ever made, but here's a few notable examples. Speaking to Piers Morgan, counselor to the United States President himself, 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗂𝗱, said, quote, "We have flight logs, information, names that will come out. I don't see how it's not shocking that there are so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not held accountable," end quote. Speaking to Fox News, Attorney General Pam Bondi said, quote, "A truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the hands of the FBI," end quote.
Okay, we all know that. Okay, that's all old news. But here's the fact. The government's talking about this like people don't realize that the Epstein list that they're talking about has been out for 10 years or more, because the redacted version and then the unredacted version popped up. It's been around for a long time. That's how I knew back in 2016 that Trump was on the list, period. You can't just rattle things off like that and not expect repercussions if it's completely false. But it's not completely false. It's completely true. Trump has been on that thing. He's been on the Lolita Express. I say this all the time. If my ex-wife is ever happening to listen, because I know somebody else in my family's wife listens, which is creepy, but whatever. But if my ex-wife happens to answer, I apologize for this. But I have more pictures of Trump and Epstein together. I have more video of Trump and Epstein together than I do of my ex-wife, which is sad because I was married for 7 years. But on that, I will once again digress. Listen to this. This channel's called Upper Echelon, and I believe he's an Anon dude because that's the symbol that's the flag that he's waving. He does a lot of nice information, but he's still completely awake. He still believes the system is somehow going to figure itself out. He doesn't seem to realize with 750,000 subscribers, he could mention that Agenda 2030 is what's happening right now. Trump and Epstein is to keep everybody paying attention. I can't believe it. I can't believe that. I can't believe this. It's upsetting. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. And Israel just keeps wiping an entire race of people off the face of the earth. Unabated, no big deal, nothing to see here. No one even pays attention to that. Do you remember when everybody was like, Israel, Palestine, we're so upset? We don't know why, but everybody else at college is upset, so we're upset. Well, we do know why. We do know why, because these people are fronting that they're the actual apple of God's eye. They are not the Israelites. I'll say it now. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it again. They're Ashkenazi Jews, okay? They are not the Israelites, and their actions should prove that. Unbelievably, they're not over there in Palestine eradicating a bloodline of giants or Nephilim, of fallen angels. Because that's what everybody that God told, go to this city and wipe them all out. Every man, woman, child, donkey, fowl, everything, wipe them out because they were messing with everything, which is exactly what we're watching them doing right now. These people are just eradicating people because they're psychopaths. And they don't want these Palestinians alive to actually testify or prove that the Israelis are not the Israelites. Big difference. 2 letters, same thing. You see what I'm saying? But Trump is a Zionist. He's told us that. Biden was a Zionist. They're all Zionists, okay? Our country's run by Israel somehow. How it all ties together, I don't know. But I can see what's happening, and you can probably see what's happening. But on that, again, I will digress. Listen to this. That ain't it. No, sir. Oh, stand by. I don't have it. All right, you know what? You're going to have to amuse yourself. Stand by for 1 sec. I got to pull this up because I had it up. This is awesome. Stand by, stand by. Stand by. Oh, perfect. My computer's not responding. That's great. I'm shocked by that. Okay, here it is. Shut up. Shut up. Stand by. Stand by. I'm getting there. Okay, you know what? My computer is completely not cooperating right now. This is freaking me out. All right, you know what? I'll post it in a video that I'm going to put on my mainstream channel if it's still there tomorrow. It's just it's an interview by a writer who's talking to Ghizlane Maxwell, and she says, "Where are the picture? Where is the video of Trump having sex with a 13-year-old girl?" And she doesn't say there is no such thing. There is no video. She says, "I don't know. Ask Jeffrey." You see what I mean? This was prior. These people, I mean, that is just absolutely disgusting. Absolutely incredibly disgusting. These people are all Satanists. They all claim they're Zionists, but a Zionist is secretly someone that just wants to profit off the murder and despair of other people. You see what I'm saying? At any rate. So I'm stuck here because 2 of my main things I wanted to pull up, I cannot pull up. So let's pull this up real quick because this is interesting because this is on the History Channel. All will be revealed, they tell us. Well, it appears that is what's happening. This is the History Channel, mind you.
Lovelock, Nevada. In the early
I was literally just there, FYI.
1800s, local legends passed down by the Paiute Indians told of a race of giants who were exterminated by their tribe. It is said this was done by trapping the giants in a cave, shooting arrows at them, and then starting a large fire at the mouth of the cave. Evidence of the slaughter lay undisturbed until the early 20th century.
Are you kidding me, dude? Okay, I'm messing this up, but it's my computer's fighting me here, so I don't know what to tell you. But real quick, I just wanted to say that when they said that the Paiutes set fire to the cave, I was there. I videotaped it all. That's all completely legit. Not only that, the paperwork from 1916 that showed they found giants, but again, I'll digress.
Lovelock Cave was first discovered by local ranchers who were looking for bat guano to use in their fields.
In need of fertilizer for their crops, the ranchers removed nearly 10 feet of guano-enriched soil from the surface of the cave.
And then they began finding human remains. They found up to 40 or 50 people inside this cave. One was allegedly 7 feet, 7 inches tall. They all had long red hair and were literal giants.
If these skeletons were the remains of the legendary red-haired giants, were they visitors from distant continents?
Throughout the 19th century, many giant skeletons were allegedly discovered in the Midwest, also in parts of California and around Death Valley. And the skeletons here found at Lovelock are one of the few that were really excavated by an accredited university.
Archaeologists from the Nevada Historical Society and the University of California believe the cave was occupied from approximately 1500 BC until a few hundred years before white men appeared in the Nevada territory. 75 miles from the cave site, a local museum has preserved several skulls that some believe are recovered remains of the giants.
Inside this cabinet here are 3 skulls from the Lovelock Caves.
That's amazing. Yeah, we keep them really protected because this is our true biblical history. So we just keep them in these really nice Home Depot cabinets inside a lab. I mean, I have a better cabinet in my bathroom, and I'm not keeping skulls in there. That's crazy. I mean, are you kidding me? At any rate, I just wanted to put that up there because I found it odd that all of a sudden, once again, mainstream seems to be catching up with the conspiracy theorists. But now when they say it, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's astonishing to me. We've been talking about this for years and years and years and years and years. And now here it is, mainstream, nothing to see here, all is well. But enough with Trump, enough with Epstein, and enough with the Giants. My video on the Giants was way better than that video right there. And I left all the links so you could see the actual paperwork from UC Berkeley, California, back in the early 1900s when they said they say it. This is a scientific archaeological dig, and they put it all down on paper, and I left it. It's on Jailbreak Overlander, and I'm pretty sure you've probably already seen it. And if you haven't, I don't know what you're waiting for. So get on it, or don't. At any rate, is time speeding up? Well, let's hear what they have to say real quick, because it's funny, just like everything else, especially with AI and all the social media. It seems that if we talk about something enough, or if we happen to notice something enough, especially in the comments, like, does anybody else notice that time is speeding up? I just woke up and it's already 7:15 at night. The day's gone. I mean, this is insane. Every day it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. And I read the comments in the video I put up yesterday just to see what people had to say. And most people are like, yep, time is definitely speeding up. One person said, Richie, the reason the sunset was an hour earlier a week ago is because you've gone south. Now, I'm not a mathematician. I can't juggle. I'm not afraid of snakes, heights, red-haired women. But that don't make any sense to me. You're traveling south, so somehow the sunset varies by an hour. When I travel, especially in the summertime, I pretty much plan where I'm going. Where I'm sitting right now does not go along with that plan. This is a really hot place in the middle of August, which I don't enjoy the heat. But traditionally, I pay attention because if you're going to be on the road, you want to know what time the end of the day is going to show up. Because if you've been driving since 6 in the morning, driving at 6 at night, you want to pull over. But if it's going to be daylight out for another 3.5 hours, you need to know. Last week, sunset was at 9:13. Last night, 200 miles south, sunset was at 8:37, 8:27, something like that. But it was dark out at 8:30. Summer solstice, you lose a minute. So every day that passes after the summer solstice, sunsets at 9:15, 9:14, 9:13, so forth, so on, blah, blah, blah. That ain't the case. And apparently, since we've been discussing this for the last several years, now they're discussing it as usual because they have to discuss it, because if we give it too much credence, they have to come in and give their story. So here's their story for your listening enjoyment.
It seemed to stretch on forever. Now think about last year. Did it fly by in a blur? It's a universal feeling. The older we get, the faster time seems to accelerate. It feels like someone is stealing our time. But what if I told you this isn't just a feeling, but a measurable phenomenon happening inside your brain? And what if I told you You can learn to slow it down. Welcome to Psyche Patterns. Today, we're not just exploring a mystery. We're hacking the code of reality itself. We're diving into the brain-bending science of time.
Yeah, I'm not playing any more of that. Screw that. So I've spent most of the day trying to find out why or what they're claiming is making everything speed up, why the clocks have to be messed with. The earth is spinning faster than it used to be, so clocks might have to skip a second to keep up. That's just dumb. It really, really is. It's just dumb. Or they simply blame it on us getting older. Oh, you're getting older, so time is changing. Cool, cool, cool. So me getting older in the last week caused my sunset to change by 45 minutes in 6 days. That's no bueno. That doesn't work. That math just is not mathing. You see what I'm saying? In every single one of these articles, they're like, yep, it's because the earth is spinning faster. Well, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the earth ain't spinning at all. And you know why? You know how you can tell? Because you can tell. God gave you everything you needed to figure this place out one way or the other. Why we have to live with a fallen angel and all his friends that are smarter than us, that were there when God created everything, that know what God looks like, how God acts, how God thinks. Why do we have to deal with them? All the while, the entire time we're raised, we're taught that science knows everything and God's just a guy sitting up in the clouds. I don't know. But I have faith. Why do kids die with cancer? Well, it's a thing called science, you know? When somebody comes brand new to the planet Earth, the plane, relax, take a pill, don't take a pill. They inject them. Bing, 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 bing. 74 vaccines in a little kid before they're 18 months old. Loaded with thimerosal, mercury, everything that shouldn't even be dumped in the ocean is dumped into a child's body. So that's where cancer and everything else comes from. I'm watching that scumbag gay guy from Palantir, Peter Thiel. I'm watching RFK talking about we need to catch up. Science hasn't even figured out how to get rid of cancer and Alzheimer's and autism. Alzheimer's and autism didn't exist when I was a kid. They didn't. You wanted to know something, you went to your 95-year-old grandmother or grandfather and asked them, and they would sit there. They might take a long time doing it, but they would explain to you how the things were when they were a kid. That's why they implemented autism and Alzheimer's, because autism makes people, I met somebody the other day that was autistic, and they were around 21 years old, I guess, and holy cow, dude. Holy cow. This autistic person, I was there to meet their parent, and their parents' full-time job all day, every day since the day this kid was born 21 years ago is dealing with this person because they can't verbally communicate and they're super hypersensitive to hearing. So anything will set them off, and apparently once in a while they get violent. This person can't work, can't date, can't go outside, can't live any semblance of a normal life because not only was their child robbed of their entire life, their childhood, their life, with this autism that comes in a vaccine, so isn't the parent. You see what I mean? I mean, I never saw it up that close before. It's unbelievable. But the autism and Alzheimer's wasn't just a happy byproduct. It was the goal. Because oral tradition is what those stupid Native Americans that were telling us 100 years ago about the giants were telling us. We were like, these stupid dirt worshipers, they don't know anything. Turns out they were completely right. And not only did they know there were giants there, they fought them and defeated them. They defeated the Titans. How crazy is that? And I stood in that cave. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. It's just crazy. And all over this earth, there are giant bones and all this. I don't want to go all the way down that rabbit hole, but it's astonishing watching people still somehow thinking that Trump is playing anything other than the New World Order. He doesn't give a single F about you, me, or anybody we know. He doesn't care about his supporters because he's in power right now. and they're in power. They put the dude from Palantir in there right off the bat, the guy that wants to have eternal life. That's all he talks about is eternal life and the Antichrist. This guy is a gay guy married to a man. I just can't get over that. I think that's the creepiest thing in the world. Oh, they're so brave. My two dads. Do you ever think of the mechanics of what those two guys are doing? The mechanics of the entire thing? It's disgusting and depraved. But on that, I will digress. All these people talk about is living forever, living forever, living forever. Because A, they don't want to stand before God. I don't want to stand before God. Judgment sounds really scary. It really does. You know what I mean? None of us, you can say whatever you want in the comments right now. None of us even come close to anybody that would even be considered a saint. We don't live that life. We don't live that. We got robbed. We got robbed. Jesus and his apostles were living an entirely different life way back then, and it was hard. This is multitudes worse. Multitudes worse. We're surrounded by sin in every single solitary way, and that creeps into your head. If you think about a woman, you've already slept with her, according to the Bible. If you think about, I'd love to kill that guy. You just murdered him, according to the Bible. Well, guess what? I'm guilty of all those things, which is why I was so concerned about repenting and why I was so concerned about getting born again of water. And I did. But I'm still not like, yeah, I'm all set. I don't think that whatsoever at all. I'd be lucky, in my opinion, I'd be lucky if I'd be able to stand outside the gates. You know what I'm saying? Story of my life. Everybody was doing their thing. I'm always on the outside looking in. Fine, I can deal with that. But whatever. These people, all they ever talk about is eternal life and how they're doing things for eternal life. If you look at Peter Thiel 20 years ago, he looked like a young gay guy that was getting ready to get married to another man. His husband. I find that, I can't even believe we're saying that. I can't believe even that's a thing, but whatever. I'm not like that. And it's not my cup of tea. But look at a picture of him 25 years ago. Look at a picture of him now. He looks like he's aged 5 times. It looks like he's 60 years older than he should be. So whatever they're doing to anti-age and live forever doesn't seem to be working, but that is absolutely their plan. It's crazy to me. I can't open up the links that I had here, so I'm kind of at a loss. But I'll tell you what, the time is going super fast. I don't go on Reddit, okay? I know what Reddit is. I know what Discord is. I'm familiar with them, but I don't go on there because you know what? You only get so much time in this earth, and I'm not going to spend all my time watching videos, making videos, editing videos, reading the comments, replying to the emails, and then, hey, want to go outside? No, can't do it because I'm on Reddit right now reading about time is going faster than it ever has been for me. Feels like we're going at warp speed right now. Isn't that weird? I wonder if this person knows that is a kind of a double entendre. Warp speed right now. But I mean, it's even made it into the Reddits. It's all over the place. So, of course, time speeding up is going to suddenly become a news event. You know what I mean? And it's all over the news all day, every day. It's insane because the earth is spinning faster. Let me tell you a secret, okay? According to the mainstream, the reason time feels like it's speeding up is because the earth is going 1.3 milliseconds less. 1.3 milliseconds less than it used to be, according to them. If you don't believe the earth is completely stable and not moving, look up the 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 test, where their test was to see if they could see what the actual speed of the earth spinning was, and they accidentally proved, hey, this ain't moving at all, because it ain't. But on that, I digress. But their answer to everything is the earth is spinning 1.100 of a millisecond faster than it used to be. So that's making it seem like time is speeding up. What are you even talking about? How stupid do you think everybody is? You know what I mean? Pretty stupid would be my answer. And you know what? They wouldn't be too far off because people are incredibly stupid. It bums me out, blows me away, does all sorts of things. I'm very multi-dimensional, no pun intended. But CERN messing around, trying to break through other dimensions all the time would explain some things. Because if they're actually messing up timelines to the point where people are reading a book and the cover changes, the Mandela effect, which not everything is a Mandela effect. Not see my name right there. Want to see a funny little thing, fun little exercise? My entire name, written by me, because it's my name, is right there. And for years, people were like, nope, there was a T in there. It's a Mandela effect. And I'm like, actually, I've been writing my name my whole life. It's a weird thing. And Richard doesn't have a T in it, nor does Richie at all. People put it in there, and it is what it is. What are you going to do? But there are actual real Mandela effects, and they freak me out. Do you guys remember years back when I went on eBay and spent a, no pun intended, ungodly amount of money on the oldest King James Version Bible I could find, simply to prove that planets wasn't in there? Remember that? Yeah. It wasn't, and then it was. That freaked me out. Nicholson 1968 sent me a video years ago over Skype, I think, and it was a new intro he just did, and he worked hard on it. He was like, "What do you think?" I can't remember it to save my life, but it was a mainstream song. He sent me the video. I listened to it, and by the time I finished listening to it, the entire song changed. We both just listened to the song. The song had been around since the 70s. It was Mandelarly affected. And both of us were like, are you kidding me, dude? Serious. I mean, that happened. That's a real thing. So if they can do things that can cause a Mandela effect, I would imagine it would have a problem with time. Because, dude, seriously, wasn't it just like a couple of months ago that some guy drove up in front of the Trump Towers in a Tesla Cybertruck and blew himself up so bad? Tesla blowing up in front of Trump, blew himself up so bad his body was unrecognizable. He was a special forces operator, and his vehicle was found with empty propane tanks in the back and fireworks. And he was blown up so bad they couldn't recognize him. So he was basically in an incinerator. Well, how did they figure out who it was? Well, fortunately, his paper passport remained. So the human body was burned beyond recognition, like it was inside a crematorium. But his passport was fine. All is well. False flag 911. It's a thing. Look it up. It's what they do. But wasn't that just like 2 months ago? It's this. Today's the 9th of August. In like 15 minutes, it'll be September, October, November. I mean, this year is just blown by. And if somebody wants to go back, I'll run it. You type it up. Every single event that has happened this year, it has been absolutely astronomical. No pun intended if that applies, but whatever. It has been amazing how many things they've hit us with nonstop, never ending, so forth, so on. And then the weather. We have never seen them wielding the weather like the double-edged sword that it is right now. Not that I can remember, but as you know, I am getting older, so time seems to be speeding up. Maybe I'm losing it, but I'm not. Here's one thing I want to do real quick. Oh, first of all, the comments. You lost cash in your wallet, but you only had $37. Yeah, why don't you listen to the story? First of all, the story wasn't saying, help me, I need help. The story was me telling a story because I've been on the road. I've got a million stories. I walked in with $37. It was $43. I got in my wallet out of my truck, came back in, gave him my card, and he took it, and I went in the bathroom. Either I left my wallet there or in the bathroom. One of the two. It happens. Yeah. And the cash in my wallet was large denominations. So my card was the easiest option. So relax or whatever. Do your thing. Go on Reddit. If you remember this, or maybe you don't, do it if you want, do it if you don't. But this was brought to my attention by J and D yesterday in Central California. I don't know where. North. Remember that I said, if you want to get a hold of other people in your area that are like-minded, make a video, post it on YouTube, unlisted. Hey, my name's so forth. I live here. This is, or this is my screen name. I just want people to talk to. You don't have to tell them where you live. You don't have to give any information at all. I'll leave the link in the video like I did on BitChute. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? People want to get together. I can't do what I used to do. I went to 48 states. I met with everybody that showed up. Thousands and thousands of RFB subscribers showed up, and people seemed to be just more concerned with taking a selfie with me or my truck than actually meeting their neighbor. The point of me meeting people in Colorado, Washington, every single state except Alaska and Hawaii, that took me forever. That cost a mountain of money, and it was ridiculous. But if it was going to work, I had to give it a try, because you can't communicate via text, cell phone, email, anyway. So if you want me to post on my channel your pedigree and what you're looking to do, post it on YouTube, because I'm not downloading it from Google or anything else. Post it on YouTube or post it on BitChute, unlisted. Email me, rjcjr10@yahoo.com, and I'll post it for you. Otherwise, what are you talking about? At any rate, I'm not going to the thing in Kentucky. What I thought it was supposed to be and what it actually is are two different things. Not my cup of tea, man. I tried to get Minifish out there on stage, and he was agreeable. But apparently, instead of having him out there, they want a bunch of people I've never heard of in my life, ever at all. And they're looking to make this into a thing where every year, well, if you're paying attention every year, that's crazy talk. I don't see every year. What they're doing fast. They're doing it so fast that we're under the impression time is speeding up. Think about that, seriously. Or don't. At any rate, Richie from Boston, and I'm out.